Everyone is wrong for saying it's just a 4K Switch. Game Chat is the innovative feature that will define Switch 2's place in history. After years of waiting, the Switch 2 was finally revealed in a Nintendo Direct presentation, and there was a lot of excitement over it, of course. Now, Shuhei Yoshida, he's the former head of Sony PlayStation Worldwide Studios, and he retired at the end of last year. And he made some very interesting comments, which I think is important to take note of because they reflect the opinion of many different people across the internet and across the world. So, Shuhei Yoshida, he's a very well respected man, very talented in being able to recognize developing games and help cultivate them so that they can become the best versions. So, when he says something, it's something to take note of. He's also actually a big fan of Nintendo hardware, and I'm sure he's said in the past, he's spoken in the past that his twin daughters, they have Nintendo Switches as well. So he's not speaking from a place of negativity. Now, he made some comments about the Nintendo 2 Switch, sorry, the Switch 2 reveal. He was speaking to Easy Allies, and he essentially said a couple comments which stand out. One, he said that the Switch 2 is just a better Switch, basically referring to the fact that it is just improved in specification. He also made the point that with new Nintendo consoles, he expects new experiences. And the feeling he got from this was that it wasn't offering new experiences. It was more similar to what Microsoft and Sony do with their new consoles, which is they market them on being improved versions of the last generation console. And definitely a lot of people seem to agree with what he said. I mean, when you think about it, it is just an improved Switch 2 console, isn't it? Jeff Keighley said, I do miss Nintendo surprising us with an innovative new feature gimmick. Azza Jabbar said, Bro, WTF is this? Switch 2 is basically Switch 1 with more specs. Why did they need 6 years to reach that conclusion? And GameSpot said, Nintendo Switch 2's reveal feels cold and lifeless compared to original Switch. And if you look back to the history of Nintendo consoles, they have many of them offered something original. You had the Game and Watch handheld devices. They had the first D-pads, which was first introduced into the Nintendo NES. There was the Game Boy Portable console, which was quite new, the power of a console in your hand with this green monochrome screen. There was the N64 with its analog stick, which was perfect for moving around 3D worlds, and Super Mario 64. That was a big innovation. In the N64, it also had four controller ports so that you could have four players easily connect up to it for easy local multiplayer. The Wii, that was very innovative with its motion controls and Wii Tennis, which was quite brilliant at the time. And the Nintendo 3DS, which of course had a 3D effect screen on it. Now, when it came to the first Switch, it did offer something quite original. It was a hybrid console. This meant that it was able to be used in the home environment with full power, and it could also be used portably. So this was quite a fresh idea, and it was brilliant for Nintendo because it meant it could streamline its software development, but it was also great for users who were now able to play the same game at home and continue it when they were out and about. This was a brilliant innovation. The console, as I'm sure you know, has done brilliantly. It's sold over 150 million units, and it's on target to outsell the previous or the current best-selling console, the PS2. So on that basis, the Nintendo Switch 2 being having the same form factor as the first version, which is being a hybrid console, and not changing from that, not deviating from that, it actually makes perfect sense because the original version has been such a success. And I think it's predictable that Nintendo has done this, but it's completely understandable. And what Shuhei Yoshida and the rest of the world and everyone doesn't seem to recognize is that the Switch 2 seems like it has a secret sauce.
Seeing your faces on here.
During the Switch 2 reveal, a lot of different stuff was shown, including Mario Kart World, which is what I think most people were drawn to. But what stood out to me was the game chat feature, the player playing Mario Kart. And then you see in the four mini screens at the bottom where he could see three of his fellow gamers. And looking at it, yes, this was a demo and it was being shown to the world. And you could see that the footage of his fellow playmates, his fellow players, was quite choppy. The frame rate was quite bad, really. And sometimes it slowed down a bit. So I can understand if anybody saw that, they might have thought, "Oh, this is not looking very polished." But it stood out to me because even on the first instance when I was looking at it, I was thinking, "Wait, this could be actually something brilliant. This could be something quite remarkable." So following the reveal, the reaction from the internet was pretty predictable, really. People were saying that Xbox Live did it first, that this was party chat and 20 years too late. And I think because Nintendo really hasn't had a integrated voice chat, a party chat solution with the original Switch, and because you had to use an app which was a bit fiddly and complicated, it just seemed like this was too little, too late to many people, and I can understand that. So, what is Nintendo Switch 2 Game Chat? Well, it's a social feature that all works from the use of this new button, the C button. Presumably, it refers to chat. And it has a multitude of different features. So, the most obvious one is the voice chat. Of course, you've had voice chat with Xbox and PlayStation. Here on the Switch 2, it will allow up to 12 players to join a voice chat session. And so that's going to be pretty cool. You will be able to use the built in microphone. And there is also AI technology which will help reduce the sound of background noise so that when you're transmitting your voice, it comes out clear to anybody who's listening. There's also video chat, so you can chat to other players and see their faces. But the most interesting part is screen sharing. And so this means that when you are playing a game with some friends, you will be able to see their screens and you will actually be able to see video footage of them as well if they have the cameras, so that it is effectively reproducing local multiplayer but virtually. So you can play local multiplayer but remotely. And that is such a brilliant idea because local multiplayer or couch co-op, however you want to describe it, it's it's a different experience of sitting around with your friends in your room and you're all playing the same game and you're all looking at each other, laughing and enjoying the game. And this was one of the key strengths of the N64. So each player has to have a camera, a USB-C camera. There's the official Nintendo one and the official Nintendo Piranha plant. And you can also use third party USB-C cameras as well. So the whole idea is that it should be easily accessible to anybody so that, you can just find a camera from somewhere, attach it to your Switch 2, and then get playing. So game chat seems like a great feature to bring people together. And I did wonder if Nintendo thought of this, if it came up with the idea during the pandemic era as a solution for, uniting gamers. And when I looked into it, it actually had come up with it during the pandemic era. So the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom producer, Kuchi Kawamoto, he said that Switch 2 development started in 2019 and that the Switch 2 was inspired by memories of playing games together as children at a friend's house or in a student lounge where everybody brought their own consoles. And there's a bit more to it than that about how they was trying to connect the developers and everything, would connect it with each other and see each other's faces. But it's that it came from the pandemic era, it really does make a lot of sense because if you think back, it's now 5 years incredibly. April March 2020 when lockdown began in most countries and everybody was locked in. Everybody was finding ways to connect with each other, and Nintendo released its Animal Crossing game, and this was a massive hit. And it allowed gamers to actually go and visit the islands of their friends. And so there was this real element of social connection. And I do wonder if if Nintendo was also inspired by that. And at the time, we all had a need to connect with other people, a need to socialize. So I think Animal Crossing did help with that. But another interesting tidbit is how younger gamers, school kids, teenagers are using games like Fortnite to socialize. So there have been reports that rather than
Riley, what do I do?
playing games like
Do I just
Fortnite
walk
just to
into
go
it?
in and win, they're going there to talk to their friends, to hang out, to catch up. And so Fortnite, it really is an example of and this is an outdated word for the moment, but it will come back, of a metaverse game. This persistent online world where you can just go in and use it in a number of different ways. Fortnite, Call of Duty, Warzone, all these online games people are playing to find a connection with other people. Though they don't get to see other people's faces, local multiplayer couch co-op really does offer something special. So if I compare it, if I use as an example, playing Halo on Xbox locally with some friends, it is great because you can, play the game, shoot each other, but you've got those reactions of the other people around you. You can look at them, see their screams of laughter or pain when they've been shot. And then if you try and play Halo, as I have, multiplayer online, doing the same, even if you're playing with friends, it's not quite the same because you're not getting that human aspect of it. You're not seeing their faces or their body movements. And so this is where really game chat and screen sharing on the Nintendo Switch 2 could really be fantastic because it's going to bring that social aspect, sitting down with friends locally but virtually, and you'll be able to see their faces, see their bodies, and I think that might have the potential to really transform gaming into a massively social event, even when you're not in the same room, building, or even the same country as your friends. And don't underestimate the potential for this to really be a viral selling point of the Switch 2, because to get multiplayer gaming with different personalities, you do have sometimes have the big YouTube streamers get together, and you do need equipment like that. But imagine if you've got the Nintendo Switch 2 and you've got big streamers like whatever the young kids are, whoever they're watching, ISO Speed and Pokimane all playing together a game, and you've got a recording of this and their reactions. I think that's going to be a big draw to the young gaming community. Maybe there might be competitive Minecraft games. Minecraft, of course, is massive. And being able to see your favorite streamers playing together this way is going to inspire a lot of people, a lot of young kids to want to do the same with their friends. And because it will be so easy to use, easier than Xbox, easier than PlayStation, because it will just be press the C button to get started. I think this could really be a brilliant and unique method of adding a social aspect to gaming with the Switch 2. What do you think?